Hey, Jim here from K2 Concepts. Shot the last video on dipping difficult objects, and I mentioned taping and back taping and why we do what we do. It's been a while since I shot a video on that, so I'm going to take this time that we have this object and just show you what we do to back tape and how it helps you guys, prevents failures, and keep you guys from re-dipping objects. So real quick, a little Corona for the haters, or Takati. Okay, when you're back taping refers to taping off, coming off an edge with the tape. So this, for example, is like 1.5" tape, masking tape. What you want to do is tape your edges, especially your trailing edges. The edge that hits the water first is usually not going to have a problem. Very rarely do we have any problems other than maybe trapping air. But if your approach is good, your angle's good, your leading edge is usually not going to have any issues as far as water beating you or pattern tearing. What happens afterwards though, as the pattern starts coming up, sometimes the water will rush in behind the part and will beat the edge, and you'll have jagged edges along the trailing edges of your part as you dip. So what we do to prevent that, it doesn't take much time, and it's going to save you a lot of time as far as having to repaint a part, sand it down, repaint it, or whatever the problem is to correct it. So we tape all of our trailing edges. Now you can create problems though, say like right here. I tape these little holes, these are your push pin holes and stuff like that, bolt holes, whatever it is. What happens sometimes is the water will rush in behind you, and it'll actually beat you as you're coming in on your approach. So sometimes water will rush in and it'll squirt out these holes and get on the pattern itself and create a void before you even get there. Especially hoods and stuff like that, where you've got a while to go and the water will actually, all of a sudden rush in and catch up to your dip. It'll flow past that point because it's got momentum, and it'll squirt out these holes sometimes and create problems there. So tape your holes. The other thing that happens when you do tape them is you may trap air. So what I'll do is I'll put a razor slice or a pin slice in the tape itself and allow air to get out. Prevent water coming in, allow air to get out, because you don't want to create a problem that wasn't there to begin with. So sometimes when you back tape stuff, you can actually create trapped air, which leads me to the other point. So right here, what we did was we back taped this to prevent the pattern from flowing in and pulling in and creating a distortion of pattern, but we could inadvertently trap air here. So what I usually do on large areas like this is I'll put a cut here, because I'm not quite sure whether we're going to go in this way or the other way, but either way, air will be able to get out and water's not going to rush in, okay? So those are areas that you want to pay attention to and tape them properly. It took me, 15-20 minutes to tape all this, punch all the holes, and be ready to go. But it's going to save us a lot of time should we have a void or a distortion of pattern that we don't like. It's unacceptable to the customer. So that's one of the reasons why we spend a little bit of time, especially on custom parts, back taping. And then lastly, your trailing edge. So say that we come in this way, what you want to do, and this is especially important when you're dipping firearms. Sometimes the water will come up. You've got to block that water. So as you're going in, what the water's going to want to run it this way, and it'll flop over. So you back tape that to block the water coming in and give you an opportunity to get to this whole edge. Now what I think I'm going to do on this one is probably add one more piece of tape right here just in case. So we'll, just in case the water tends to catch up and maybe mess me up coming in here. So that should slow the water down to where it won't, you know, come in and wrap before the pattern hits it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can go one more. There you go. Now, for a little bit of preventive measures, you can save yourself a lot of heartache and grief. Okay, so that's just about every single problem that could occur. Small holes, bolt holes, tape them up, maybe punch a little bit of, or punch a hole in them to prevent air from being trapped. Larger areas, you're preventing distortion, but make sure you put a razor cut in it so you don't trap air there. And then your trailing edge. Keep taping until you make sure that the water's not going to beat you and create problems. The last thing you want is this thing to look really good all the way up to this point, and then all of a sudden the water beats you, and then you have a failure, and then you're going back and repainting the whole thing all over again. There's nothing more frustrating. So that's it for this one. Join us on the forum, k2forums.com. You can email me, k2forums@gmail.com. Activator guns and other supplies, k2shoponline.com. Again, have a little beer for the haters. And I hope you're having a good day dipping. We'll talk to you later.